Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate one way to make your repeat tile. This is the clear box method. So I like this way because I feel like I have a little bit more control to start with. In another video, I'll show you how to use the pattern tool, which is also a great tool as well. But here we go, clear box method. So here are some elements that I've drawn. So before I even think about repeat, I kind of just want to think about what would my fabric look like, you know, if I was going to go buy a yard of it. And usually when I look at my fabric, I don't want to see an obvious repeat. I want it to look really natural and organic. So that's how I like to start, is just kind of placing my artwork to like fill the fabric, and I'll deal with the repeat later. So, okay, first of all, I think I'm going to change this pink to be black. I'm not feeling the pink, and I'll just kind of stick with this color story. I'm going to hold down Option, and a little arrow comes out. I'm on a Mac. I think if you're on a PC, it's like the second button to the left of the space bar. You'll know because you'll see like a little white arrow. And I'll just kind of copying and pasting and just making a bunch of elements here. You know, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna like it or move it. I don't know. And then I can kind of go in and move them how I want. So one thing with these big yellow spots, I think I'm gonna select all of them, and I want to move them to the back layer. So I'm gonna say Command X, Command B, and just so they're kind of on the bottom. I don't know if I really like all of them being yellow, so I'm gonna select this guy, hit the letter I for the eyedropper, and I can maybe change you to gray, or I don't know, maybe some should be gray, some could be black. I don't really know. So this is just where you can get kind of creative and just sort of fill it out however you think like would look good. Okay, so let's see here. This is also pretty diagonal. I kind of like that, but I'm not totally sure about it. Get rid of that extra shape. Okay, anyways, I don't want to waste too much time, but you kind of get the idea, kind of play around till you really like the way it looks. So for me, if I was going to buy like a yard of fabric, like right here, I'm just going to select all, make a clipping mask. Like that, I kind of like the way this looks, right? But the only problem is that it's not in repeat, obviously, right? Because the top doesn't match the bottom. So we need to get our edges to align so that it's a tile and can be printed, and the customer will not even notice that it's a tile, but it's something we have to do. So, okay, so I made a clipping mask. I'm just going to say Object, Clipping Mask, and release it, and I'll just delete that guy. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to make sure my rulers are open. You can hit Command R, or you can go to View and Rulers and just say Show Rulers. Mine are already here. Then I'm going to hover over the ruler on the left. I'm going to click drag. And you know, I really want my repeat tile to kind of start here in the middle of the artwork. My guide disappeared. If that's happening to you, go up to View and then Guides, and make sure Show Guides is on. Ooh, I have a whole bunch. So I'm actually gonna delete my guides. I don't need those right now. I wanna start fresh. Okay, hovering over the ruler, click drag. Now again, don't have your guide start here, because that is not where you want your repeat tile to start. You really want it to start just in the middle of the madness. Okay, so if this is gonna be my repeat tile, then my artwork will basically be cut off. And then all the artwork that's on the other side of the guide really needs to be on the other side of what's going to be my repeat tile. That's kind of confusing, I think, for beginners. So I just want to demonstrate that one more time. So basically what's going to happen, if where that guide is, if that's going to be the start of my tile, then all this artwork, right? See how he gets cut off? All of the artwork on the other side basically needs to be on the other end of my repeat tile. So what I do is I select the guideline and I select any artwork that crosses over it, okay? Then I copy and paste it. And the way I like to copy and paste is I like to hold Option, and I'm on a Mac, and you see that little white arrow come out. So now I can click and drag. Now the only problem is I don't want it to dip at all. That will cause a problem, and I can demonstrate that later. So I know I have to also hold Shift. So I didn't let go of Option. I'm still holding Option, but now I'm also holding Shift. And then I guess I'm just going to drag this guy. I really want to drag it to an empty space, to be honest with you. I just don't want any new artwork crossing my guideline. Okay, so I'm going to let go of the mouse. And then now I will also let go of Option and Shift. Be real careful not to let go of them at the same time, or your artwork is going to drop funny. So just another point too, this new guideline is only crossing over new artwork. It's not crossing over any of the old artwork. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Eat that. So maybe what a good idea to do is, if you're a beginner, I'm going to hit Command Z actually a couple times, is when you select all your artwork that crosses over that guideline and you're holding Option, and then you're also holding Shift, maybe just make sure, like, you just kind of put it really far, and then you can go in and fill the middle part. That might be smarter. I just want to make sure. You just don't want to put it here, because then you're going to have all this new artwork that's not on the left side, that's crossing over the right side. Sometimes I make this more confusing than it needs to be. Okay, so anyways, I'm just going to drop this here, and I know there's no new artwork. There's kind of a hole in the middle, so I'm just gonna find more artwork to put in that hole. Maybe you could look nice there. Maybe we should get like a black one down here. Maybe actually this gray guy that I just dropped, you should actually be a little higher. Maybe we need some more like polka dots. Actually, yeah, just the polka dots. So I'm going to hit Y to grab just the black things, Command C to copy, double click to get out, Command V to paste. Oopsies. Command V and hover over. Now, any new artwork I add, you want to make sure none of it is crossing over your guidelines at all. Okay, let's see. Maybe a little bit down here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So, now what the clear box does is that it's just, when you put it in the swatches, the computer knows to only repeat any art that's inside your clear box. So I'm going to go ahead and make a box. You can hit the letter M, or you can go grab this rectangle tool here. And I really want to make sure my box starts on the first guideline and finishes on the second guideline. And then my artwork should line up perfectly when it gets cut off. Okay, so I'll first demonstrate what this looks like with a clipping mask, and then I'll change it to the clear box in the bottom layer. So if this was a clipping mask, I'll select all of this. You hit Command 7, and then basically what the swatch palette's going to do, it's just going to line up your artwork. See how it lines up perfectly? This yellow guy and these gray things, they all line up perfectly, and you can keep doing that to infinity, and it's always going to line up. And then the viewer's like not going to know where it started and stopped. So that's what's kind of neat about it. I'm going to hit Edit Undo. So how we put this in the swatch palette is that you take that box, you make sure it has a clear fill. So I'm going to change mine from black to clear. You check on the stroke. You also make sure that's clear. And then you make sure it's on the very bottom layer. I like to hit Command X, Command B. If you're a beginner, it's a great idea to have your layer palette open and to just double check that it's on the bottom layer. So right now it's selected. I see the blue dot that shows it's selected. It's definitely on the bottom, so that's good. Okay, let's give this a shot. Let's see what this looks like. So we're gonna put this artwork into our swatch palette. So to do that, make sure you're on the black arrow. We're gonna click and drag over all of it. Now, you cannot make a swatch out of your guidelines because the length of them go to infinity, and it just doesn't know how to repeat infinity. So if you notice, I'm going to click, drag, and drop. It's not going to work. So I have to deselect the guides. I like to deselect by holding Shift and clicking and dragging, and then now they're deselected. You're also going to notice if you try to click the background, it's not going to let you drag it in either. So once you have everything selected and the guides deselected, make sure you're hovering over artwork that's actually selected. I've just seen this a million times with students, especially that are new. It's kind of awkward at first. So that's kind of the trick. So I'm going to click, drag, and I'm going to drop it in our swatch palette. And yeah, there it is. It's a new swatch. You can view them if you want to look at it larger. It doesn't really matter. You still can't really see it. But so the true test is me making like a big piece of fabric. So let's say I go to the fabric store, I'm going to buy 1 yard of fabric. There it is. And then I'm going to fill it. So I'm going to get out of the stroke and I'm going to go to the fill. I'm going to try out my new swatch. There it is. I'm going to hit Z to zoom in. Yeah, I don't see the repeat. I don't see any funky line that's happening. I don't even know where the repeat is. That's awesome. That's really good. Other than I can see there's a repeat problem from the top and the bottom because it's super stripey. And I actually don't want a stripe print. So I'm also going to have to put the top edge and the bottom edge in repeat also. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, real quick, I do want to show you what would have happened if all this artwork right here, what if I accidentally, what if I accidentally moved it like a little bit lower? Let's see what that looks like. Click, drag, drop. Oh, can't bring in guides. Okay. I'm going to fill that. Zoom in. Do you guys see if it's not aligned perfectly? It's not lining up. So when I copy my artwork from one guideline and I bring it over to the other side, it's really important to make sure you're holding shift on your keyboard. And then it's also really important to let go of the mouse button before shift, or you can accidentally drop it. And I'm just saying that because I teach this class and this happens every semester to like a ton of students. So I'm trying to make a big deal about it. So hopefully it won't happen to you. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out and we're definitely gonna say Command Z a few times because we don't want that to happen. Okay, so it's back in business. Okie dokie. So now what I'm gonna do is, I guess I'll zoom in a little bit, is I'm gonna do the same thing but with the top and the bottom. So I'm gonna hover over my ruler and I'm gonna figure out where do I want my repeat to start. I don't want it to start up here at the top. I want it to actually maybe start like, somewhere where it's less obvious, maybe like right there. Just so I'm not I'm doing demonstration, I'm gonna delete this clear box because I'm gonna want to change it to a different one later. Okay, so this is where I want my top repeat to be. So that means, again, anything that crosses over this line is going to get cut off. So it needs to match up on the bottom. My strategy is to select the guideline and anything crossing it. And then I'm going to hold down that option button, click and drag. I don't want it to not match up. So I also hold shift so it stays perfectly aligned. And then you don't want to drop this on top of the artwork, or you're going to have artwork on the bottom that doesn't align with the top. So I recommend kind of giving it a space, and then you go in and fill in the middle yourself. So now any artwork that's crossing this bottom guide is also crossing the top guide in the exact same spot. We have a weird middle thing that I have to go in and fill, which is fine. I can do it, but just when you do it, make sure it doesn't cross that bottom guide. Okay. That seems okay. You can obviously play around more, but I'm going to get to the repeat. I don't want to spend too much time doing the art because I can sit here forever until it's perfect. Okay, so now I have a box. So I'm going to hit the letter M, and I'm going to go ahead and click and drag on these guidelines. This is going to be my repeat tile. Okay. What I recommend is really zooming in to make sure you're actually on your guides because a lot of times it's not. So I'm going to hit the letter Z, and I'm going to zoom in. I like to zoom in to the middle and I hit V. Look at that. See how mine's up a little bit? I'm gonna hit Z more. V. Because V is the black arrow. Yeah, that was off. So it didn't snap to it. Command negative. I'm gonna do this side. Z. Zooming in. V. Oh, that one actually did it. Cool. Command negative. Okay, panning. Z. Zooming in. Oops, panning. V. Yeah, that guy was off too. Did you see that? The heck? I'm going to hit Command negative, panning over by holding spacebar, letter Z, zooming in, V, there we go. Wow. So if you don't do that, you might notice like some of your artwork isn't aligned perfectly. Just another common troubleshooting issue for beginners. Okay, so now I need to make sure this box is clear. Right now it's yellow, so I'll change it to no fill. I need to make sure the stroke is also no fill, and I need to make sure it's on the bottom layer. Where is it right now? I think it's on the top layer. So you can click and drag and bring it down to the bottom. That's one way. I have a lot of layers though. Okay. What I like to do is say Command X, Command B, because then it just pastes it to the bottom layer for you way faster. That's what I like to do. But a lot of beginners are more visual, so double check your layer palette. Command negative, I'm going to zoom out. Okay, guys, I'm ready to make my swatch to see if this works. I'm going to move my layers over here. I don't need my color opened. Okay, so I'm going to my black arrow. I'm going to click, drag over all of my artwork. I'm going to deselect my guidelines. And then I'm going to hover over my artwork, click, drag, and drop it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, now let's test it with my big yard of fabric that I'm buying at the store. Okay, Command negative. These guides are kind of bugging me, so if they bug you, you can always say view guides, and you can lock them, and you can also hide them. Okay, got my fabric. Select your fabric. Make sure the fill swatch is on top, and we're going to change it to our new one. Click. Okay, let's zoom in. From far away, it looks okay. Yeah, I don't see where my repeat tile is. It's really smooth. Like, I cannot even tell where it started and stopped, so that's good. I will say, sometimes on Illustrator, it does a favor and it will kind of show you a little line. That might be just in an older version. And I think it does it to help you, but it makes students like crazy. They're like, it's not aligned. But if you rasterize or print it, it is perfectly aligned. It looks like in the newest, I'm using the cloud one, it doesn't do that annoying trick anymore. So that's kind of good, I guess. But here we go. So awesome. So you're going to turn in one file that looks like a yard of fabric where your tiles repeated a lot. And then you're also going to pull your swatch out and you're going to find that clear box and you're going to copy it and you're going to paste it to the top layer and you're going to make a clipping mask so that I can see your actual tile and I can make sure that all the artwork on the left aligns with the right. So how you're going to do that is I recommend using your layers palette. So I pulled out my artwork and then we're going to go to layers. Okay. There it is. It's selected because I pulled it out, put it on the top layer, and it's all grouped together. So click that drop down from the group and then go to the bottom and there's your clear box. So I'm going to deselect all of it by hitting letter V for my black arrow, click the background. I'm going to click just that clear box. I'm going to say Command C and then I'm going to click the background again so nothing is selected. I'm going to say Command F so it pastes it in the exact same spot that I copied it from. And then I'll select both that clear box and my artwork and I'll make a clipping mask. Command 7. Okay, cool. So you're going to turn in this repeat swatch. And so now when I look at it, I can see, oh yeah, here's a blob. It gets cut off and look, there it is. It gets meshed up on the other side. So just really quickly, I can visually see, the whole class can see like, oh yeah, this blob gets cut off, but look, there it is down here. So I want your repeat tile turned in as a clipping mask. And then I also want to see what does it look like if I were to purchase a yard of fabric. So those are the two things you'll turn in. All right, guys, that's how you make a repeat using the clear box method. There's another video to show you how to use the pattern tool. So reach out if you guys have any questions, and I'm super excited to see all of your projects.